I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna find a character switch machine and just fly. Because again, that's the other reason I want. I choose flight over invisibility as my power. Is I really, really, really love the concept of self-propelled flight because for a lot of reasons, but in part because it's one of those things that like they cannot uh, create it. Like it's just the thing of dreams. It will never exist. Like humans will never evolve to fly unless the Earth becomes uninhabitable, and they somehow need to exist in the sky. And scientists can't create the ability for us to just have the ability to fly. Maybe they can like do the sort of genetic modification, but that's kind of way, way, way down the line. Here's the character switch. There we go. So just like the concept, yeah, self-propelled flight is just like a thing that you will only ever see in superhero stories and your dreams. And since I was very young, have had constant dreams of being able to fly. I love the way it feels and the way you think, like you see the world when you can fly. It's like so cool to me. Can Iceman actually? So yeah, Iceman just glides. It doesn't actually have a fly. That's a little disappointing, but I get it. I remember Champions Online had a power set because you just created a superhero and it's an MMO from the late 2000s. And you could like you had to pick a travel power at a certain point, and one of them was like ice, like this basically thing where you can ride on your own ice. But since that had to exist in the same space as flight, the way it manifested itself was like you're just putting ice in front of you and then the ice behind you is deleting itself because they can't just keep all this ice everywhere. That would be really like terrible and would fall and kill tons of people. So it was like there's no perfect way to make a character that can create ice, like fly in a cool way. That's not really possible. Who am I trying to find? Who's the funnest flyer? It's Thor. But where's Thor? I thought he was in the top row. Black Widow. There he is. Gotta wait for the costumes to cycle. And here we go. So, we're off. We're soaring. I actually like soaring low and soaring really high. Because you have this like little, you have like we're going to talk about really heady stuff right now. So if you're just like not interested in my ways of discussing game design, then tune out here. Because this is a thing I wanted to talk about on a stream or just some video on the internet for a long time. Oh, that was cool. So in this game, the reason that flight is fun is because you spend every story mission having the ability to fly or having the ability to hover, but not having a reason to use it, sort of. Because the whole game, like the story stuff and all the side missions are all about like you're just like indoors and you're like going through smaller spaces, so you never need to ascend. And you have jumps, and some characters have double jumps. So the jump kind of gives you this like you can cross gaps, you can sort of move a little bit faster than you do when you just walk. And in this game, in this one particular, when you're in the open world, you instead of just having like this is like your walk, is how you go in every level, is you just go at this brisk pace. But in the open world, you can run, and then if you keep running in the same direction, you will eventually sprint, which is what I'm doing now. And that makes you go even faster and turn at a nice clip. Like the turning is really satisfying and good, and doesn't feel like you're like playing a tank. And then if you're sprinting and then jumping, you have like that's like a huge gap that you're crossing. Right here, I'll do it again. That's like a big, and I didn't put the follow through in that. And you have like attacks which can move you. They sort of like kind of crib the Batman Arkham Asylum thing where your attacks will move you around the screen, and as long as you're aiming your analog stick in the direction of the attackers, you will move towards them. So that's changes the way you move through the space. But you're at the whims of each character's like limited animation set. Like Thor throws his hammer and doesn't move himself, but he moves his hammer, which kind of like in a weird way fits Thor's personality. Like he doesn't go to do stuff; he either sends people to do stuff or uses his powers to do things. So you have these attacks that can move you around, and you have your charge attack, which Thor throws his hammer, and I think if you target something, he can like dash towards it. Or no, he just throws a hammer at it. You have your circle, which in Thor's case just gives him lightning powers. So that like that just like augments. That's a buff to your regular attack. Is it gives it a lightning thing, and you can shoot lightning out. So cool animation. Now I have a lightning hammer, and I can shoot lightning. Which, yeah, wanton destruction. You got Mrs. Fantastic, who can double jump and just kind of fall. So like, it's really easy to just think like, oh, these characters are useless. Like their tumble doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't feel like much. When you're first playing, it's like, whoa, that's way better than the single jump. Is now I can kind of like jump and then leap. And some characters have the double jump, like let me just show it off real quick. Black Widow has a double jump. So you jump and then re-jump, which gives you more vertical X and Y distance. Further telling you that like, oh, these are characters who are acrobatic. Like their sense of movement is that they can navigate space faster than anybody else can. And this is why it's important. Like the point that I'm getting to is like this is sort of the order that you unlock these characters. Is like you start with, I think it's Iron Man and Hulk are the first two characters in the first mission, and like Iron Man has the flight ability. That's the wrong Iron Man costume. But you never use it. This is the first costume, the ability or suit you get in the game, and you can jump, and you have that like that jump is like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like it's still a jump, but it feels different for some reason. So then you keep playing, and you eventually get into the open world as Iron Man. Because you'd think, like, there have been a lot of good open world Hulk games. Like, Hulk should be really fun to get around with. And, like, yeah, so his sprint is really fast and destructive. Like, even his sprint destroys things, as you can see. Because his whole thing is, like, as he gets more powerful and as he gains momentum, he gains destructive power, not the ability to navigate better. Like, he's just kind of a little bit awkward to navigate with. Like, you're just kind of like a little bit faster than you want to be when you're running, but not kind of getting any air. Like, your jump doesn't become super cool. So that's that character. And then, I'm trying to remember the next order. Then so then you're unlocking the acrobats. You got your Hawkeyes and your Black Widows. And you get Wolverine, who is more fun to play in combat than he is in the open world because he double jumps. He has a really clean double jump. But he has the sense, which kind of makes him a unique asset in missions. But he can't climb. So at this point, you're like, all right, I want to go up. Like, you're let out into the open world. What did I just go by? What the fuck was that? There was like a bouncing vehicle? Did I see that correctly? I might have not seen it. That was weird. But he double jumps. And so you're like, okay, I want to ascend. Like, I'm sick of... I see stuff is up there. You know, I can see, like, these stairs, for example. And that blue... Like, how the fuck do I get that blue stud? You know you want studs. The game tells you want studs by putting them here and making them shiny and good. And adding them to a counter infinitely. And giving you stuff to spend them on. But, like, how do I do this? Because, as we've said before, our limited tools are the attack, the jump, the double jump, and the circle ability. Which is that. And the character switch, I guess. How do I turn Thor's power off? I guess I can't. Wait, actually, I totally can. Nope. Then you unlock Flight, which changes the way the game feels. And also, on a sort of grander way, changes the way the open world looks. Because when you first are let out into the open world, you're not actually let out here. You're let out on the shield helicarrier, which I'm going to try to get to without flying to it, just to finish at this point that I'm trying to make. I'm sorry, I'm kind of like navigating around a really simple point, but I want to hammer it home. No Thor pun intended, honest to goodness. Where's the nearest phone booth? There's like phone booths that let you go travel around. Where the fuck? Hold on. There it is. Okay. You use these things, and you're like, okay, I'm a character, I can double jump, I can jump. I need to get up to the shield helicarrier, which is above us. So, what do? You can warp to it. Return to helicarrier. So you do that, and you're up here. And now I'm in the sky. And even when you're playing as Black Widow and Hawkeye, you're on this helicarrier, and they say you need to get down. How do you get down? You jump off. And it's supposed to be this really thrilling moment of like, get ready, press X, and now you're jumping. And so this is like a little mini game where you can kind of fall and try and gather studs. It's sort of unnecessary. I can't actually get out of it now because I'm in it, but I like to land on the S pad on Stark Tower, but oh, I guess you can't really do that. Never mind. This is actually very like limited in its ability. But you clearly are at this point are like, okay, I have a parachute and shit, and I can float. Like, I should be able. I should just fly. I'm a superhero. So you land. This is a side mission. We don't need to do this. And then you try to double jump as a character that doesn't double jump. Like Thor, for example, does not double jump. What Thor does when you double jump is this. Go forward. So you're like, wow, I'm flying now. I've learned to navigate the space. I am the master of the space. I'm going exponentially faster than I was going when I was running. I'm seeing the world faster. The frame rate is kind of taking a hit. And I'm slowly going up. So the game kind of tells you, like, you have control of your height. So you do that. You start pressing buttons. You learn. If I press circle, I can descend. I can get to these previously inaccessible studs. And I can get to places that would have taken me forever to get to before. You press up, and you go down. Take this bridge. And, like, that's fun. And you're like, this is great. This is flight. Whoops. Like, this is what I wanted. Oh, whoops. I guess I can't get to that part of the map yet. Or ever, maybe? This game's map is fairly small. If I remember. Yeah, we were never going to be able to get there. So you can fly now, and you can get to different parts of the game, and like, hey, it's Hell's Kitchen. There's Daredevil, probably. Probably right around here. Hellfire Club. Oh, that's the holy shit. That's an X-Men thing. Best thing about flight in Lego Marvel Superheroes, the double tap X is the hypersonic boost, which just fully opens up the X, Y, and Z axis to the point where you can navigate the space as quickly as you want, as efficiently as you want, and anything you can see you can get to, basically, within limits. So you start like immediately, and this is why it bums me out that the map is so small, like you very quickly see I'm already hitting the wall. You very quickly learn where the walls are, and you're like, oh, okay. I can't go everywhere. Like, that's frustrating, but that's video games. But then you sort of learn, like, you start to prioritize what you can get to, like the Roxxon power station, because it has a sign. It has an indicator that it is separate from the, like, negative space behind, like, right in front of me. You can tell I can't go there, because like a good cartoon, the stuff that is not important is not highlighted. But I can probably get to that Statue of Liberty sign, Statue of Liberty, because it is lit and has a shadow and all that stuff. And I can, and there's a character token over there, so you learn, like, oh, I got here, what's there to do here? And there's always something. Every landmark that you can see when you're flying leads to something. So this is an Ant-Man puzzle. If I unlocked Ant-Man, I could crawl through this little maze and unlock, like, a minifig or a golden brick or some nonsense. And there's people in this park. I actually like this little corner of the map a lot. It's very nice. There's a little park.
Oh my gosh.
There's a nice person there. And the character switch thing around here. Right over here. I don't know, whatever. Point is, yeah, like, flight should feel like a thing you earn and then be like a thing that you unlock, because when you're given it from the beginning, like, you know, that's one more thing that they're just handing to you because you're the superhero. And, like, yeah, you should be able to fly, but the way that they limit you is, like, you just can't play as the people who can fly yet, because the way that they can limit you in this game is by limiting who you play as. So that's why I love the open world, is it's all about, I want a certain character. What are the hoops I have to jump through to get them? And who do I need to get to them? Sort of the, like, A to B to C of getting a character is, like, let's say I want Daredevil. Well, I need to do a Daredevil mission given to me by Black Panther. How do I get to Black Panther? I need telekinesis to get through a door. How do I get telekinesis? I need Jean Grey. How do I get to Jean Grey? I need to